Breaking, tension rising behind the scenes. Straight out of Buffalo, this one's heating up. Things are getting intense behind the scenes at the Buffalo Bills. Strategic shakeups, surprising moves, and a fire in the locker room that screams, "We're coming for it all." And honestly, I can feel it in the air. This season could be different. The Bills have the talent, the hunger, and the mindset of a team that's locked in. If they stay on this path, a Super Bowl appearance isn't just a dream, it's within reach. But before we dive deeper into all the behind-the-scenes action, I gotta ask, have you hit that like button yet? If you believe the Bills are on a mission this year, show your support right now. And hey, let's see who's really part of the Mafia. Drop this in the comments. Go Bills! I believe. This is more than football, it's a movement, and the Mafia rolls deep. Let's go! What if I told you the Buffalo Bills could be gearing up to make one of the most pivotal draft decisions of the last 5 years? A decision that could either elevate this team to its long-awaited Super Bowl appearance or keep them stuck just shy of greatness? The whispers are turning into waves, and Field Yates just dropped the most revealing insight yet about what the front office is really planning. You're not going to want to miss a second of this breakdown, because what's about to go down in the 2025 NFL Draft may define the next chapter of Bills football. We're now less than 3 weeks away from draft night, and the Bills are sitting on 10 total selections. That's right, 10. And this isn't just a random collection of late-round flyers. This is real draft capital. With the 30th overall pick in the first round, 2 high-leverage selections close together in the second, and a handful of picks in the 100 to 210 range, Buffalo is positioned not only to select impact players but to move up aggressively if the right name is on the board. There's no third-rounder as of now, but with picks at 107, 130, 171, 175, 179, 206, and 208, this front office has flexibility written all over it. And here's where things get interesting. According to ESPN's Field Yates, the Bills' top priority isn't what many fans might expect. No, it's not a wide receiver, despite losing major firepower in free agency. It's not even a quarterback or defensive tackle. The number one position Buffalo is zoning in on? Cornerback. Field Yates made the call loud and clear. The Bills are likely to focus on strengthening their secondary early in the draft. And he's not just tossing darts at a board. This is coming from a guy plugged directly into league circles. His reasoning? Head coach Sean McDermott's track record of developing corners, often turning mid to late round picks into quality starters. Think Christian Benford, who just secured a 4-year contract extension after being picked in the 6th round. Compare that to Kaiir Elam, a first-rounder from the same draft class who has yet to fully establish himself. The pattern speaks for itself. Buffalo knows how to find corners deep in the draft. But this year, the chatter suggests they may not wait that long. And let's be real, the need is glaring. Despite a near Super Bowl campaign, Buffalo allowed far too many completions into coverage last season, top 5 in the league, to be exact. The team's faith in Dane Jackson appears to have run its course. He was let go in free agency, spent a year in Carolina, and is now back, but only as depth. He's not the guy you start for 17 games opposite Benford, especially in an AFC stacked with elite QBs and deep receiver core. So who's on the radar? Yates and others in the know have floated 5 potential names who fit Buffalo's system and draft range. Let's start with Trey Amos, a name that's heating up big time. Yates specifically called him out as the best schematic fit for Buffalo's defense. Amos is an SEC-tested corner who's done nothing but improve. After transferring from Louisiana Lafayette to Alabama, he didn't see much time, but when he landed in Oxford, Mississippi, he exploded. In 2024 alone, he had 3 interceptions, 16 pass breakups, allowed only 2 touchdowns, and held opposing quarterbacks to a 54 passer rating. He's already met with the Bills at the scouting combine. That familiarity could be a serious factor if he's still there at 30. Then there's Jade Barron, a versatile zone specialist who can line up at nickel, outside, or even at safety. That flexibility makes him a dream fit in McDermott's adaptable defense. Will Johnson, meanwhile, is another option. Injury concerns may cause him to slip, but he's a blue-chip athlete with ball-hawking instincts that were on full display at Michigan. He could have been a top 5 pick had he declared in 2024. Siobhan Rawle Jr., despite recovering from a torn ACL, is generating buzz. The Bills brought him in for a pre-draft visit, so they're clearly doing their homework. He's got NFL-ready traits and could start day one if needed. And don't sleep on Maxwell Harris, a pure man-to-man speed demon who can match up against the league's quickest receivers. At pick 30, he'd be a calculated swing with significant upside. What makes this draft cycle especially intriguing is Buffalo's balance between long-term upside and short-term needs. This isn't a rebuild, this is a reload. The Bills aren't looking to slowly develop 10 rookies over time. They want guys who can step in right now and push this team over the edge. That's why packaging picks to move up for a guy like Amos or Barron isn't just speculation, it's a real possibility. But Buffalo isn't only focused on corners. Another pre-draft visit that caught our eye was Ty Robinson, the 6 feet 6 inches, 310-pound defensive tackle out of Nebraska. Talk about physical freaks. Robinson had 7 sacks in 2024, 42 pressures, and 10 pass deflections over 2 seasons. That's rare productivity for a DT, especially in the Big Ten, where offensive lines are no joke. Here's what makes Robinson a potential sleeper. He's currently projected as a 4th-round pick, yet he ran a jaw-dropping 4.83 40-yard dash at the Combine, the fastest among interior defensive linemen. That combination of size, burst, and power doesn't come along often. The Bills haven't met with many DTs during this pre-draft window, so the fact that Robinson is getting one of the few formal visits speaks volumes. Could this be a day 2 surprise? Or will Buffalo hold and grab him in the 4th, where they have a stockpile of picks? The narrative is clear. The Bills are not just casting a wide net, they're zeroing in on very specific traits and play styles. This isn't a random dart throw, it's targeted strategy. Every move tells us the same story. Buffalo is done being just close. They're building to win now. So what does this all mean for you, the fans? It means draft night might bring us a cornerback in the 1st or 2nd round, Trey Amos, Jay Barron, maybe even Will Johnson. It could also mean watching Buffalo scoop up a rising defensive tackle like Ty Robinson in the 4th. Either way, it means Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott are making moves with urgency and vision. Now I want to hear from you. Who's your guy? Is it one of the corners like Amos or Barron? Or are you leaning towards someone in the trenches like Robinson? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Which position do you think the Bills absolutely have to target in round 1? Let me know right now. And remember, this is just part 1. We've still got more to dive into as we approach the most crucial draft in recent Buffalo history. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for part 2. And here's where things get even more compelling. If you thought the Bills were only focused on defense heading into this draft, think again. Because while cornerback might be the top priority and defensive tackle is getting serious attention, there's a quiet but strategic move being made on the offensive side of the ball that could signal a potential shift in how this team plans to support Josh Allen in 2025 and beyond. Buffalo recently brought in wide receiver Isaiah Bond for a pre-draft visit, a move that hasn't gotten the same buzz, but it's incredibly telling. Bond is one of those hybrid threats who can contribute immediately as a route runner and separator with elite speed, and with the departure of key receivers this offseason, Buffalo is staring at a receiver-by-committee situation right now. No true WR1 has emerged. So what does that tell us? The Bills are very much in the market for a pass catcher who can make plays from day 1, and they may not want to wait past round 2 to make that happen. This raises an important question for Bills fans. Is the team preparing to double dip in this draft, once on defense, once on offense, using their 2 second-round picks to hit both needs hard? It's a very real scenario. Just think about this. You could walk out of the 2nd round with a lockdown CB like Siobhan Rawle Jr. and a